Are you ready for combat night?
All right, what's up, guys? We are
What's going
locked and
on?
loaded for Combat Night Pro St. Pete. The stage is set. The fighters are weighed in. The fights are set, and all that's left is one sleep, and then we get to it tomorrow. So, me and the fellas wanted to talk about some of those fights that we have coming up tomorrow. Coach Ben Mitchell, what's up, guys?
What is up? What is up?
All right, let's run it from the main event and down. Our main event of the evening, Paulo Gomes versus Marquez Forrest. Paulo coming in extremely experienced, 11-16. Marquez 6-1 out of Champions MMA. Thoughts?
Man, Marquez is a lot of experience. So does his opponent, Paulo. Marquez is thinking he's 1 or 2 fights away from the UFC, so he's coming in there going to give it all, look for a big finish. But Paulo is very, very hard to finish. I'm excited to see this fight. Great main event for St. Pete.
Man, Champions has been producing really tough guys, and we've been seeing them, perform well recently. And I don't expect this to be much different, but Paulo can't be denied. Sure, his record's a little bit upside down, but that is a ton of experience on an extremely high level. Having a guy that's 6-1 is a very big threat. But we got a guy coming out of Nova União into American top team for his American stay. He's training with Dustin Poirier and these guys. You're going to be hard pressed to find a better training room, So Forrest has really got to come correct in this one if he's going to have any success.
All right. Exciting stuff. Our co-main event, another couple of studs. Keith Speed, Ben, I know you got some experience with him, and he's
Yes,
an OG with us. He kind of been a slayer. And he's facing Christian Hollywood Lawson, who I know is been on the precipice of trying to get back into the talks of the big show. Talk about Christian Lawson, Mitch.
I mean, Christian is great, man. He's always going to come bring the fight. He's 11-2, I believe. He's looking to get in the UFC. He's got a really tough task ahead of him. And Keith is hard to finish, and he's hard to beat. He's like 4-1 with us or 5-1 with us. So got a big task ahead of him.
Keith Speed is always a guy who shows up, and he shows up with crazy crazy athleticism. That right hand can hurt anybody. He's a little bit older. He's in the lower 30s, but his athleticism has not quit. He is still a primary training partner for some of the best guys in the world. And he just will, I guess he's planning to show you that on Saturday. But Christian is no joke, man. He's 11-2 for a reason. He trains out of Dark Wolf as a primary, but I believe he cross-trains with Fusion Excel as well. He's been in the PFL. He's fought in the Contender. He's tasted the lights. He's tasted that kind of pressure. He's at the precipice. 1 or 2 more good wins, he could be right up in there. But a win over him can catapult someone into that level as well.
Yeah, that's an exciting fight with a lot of implications. Next up, we're going to talk about our catchweight bout. David Zellner and David Macias, Battle of the Davids. DZ Machine 5-6, El Pantero 2-0. Both of David Zellner is like that, a little bit of a slow starter, but hard to kill, super tough guy. And David Macias has shown that he's been a pretty exciting guy himself through his first couple of pro fights. Mitchell?
Yeah, I've trained both of these guys, man. I'm really excited to see them fight, especially against one another. Macias is currently undefeated. Zellner has, again, tasted the bigger shows, PFL, whatnot, taking a couple of losses now. Excited to have him back at Combat Night. He's an OG with us. He won a belt. First couple pro fights were with us. I'm really excited to see him and Macias and, kind of see where it goes. I think this is going to be one of the more exciting fights of the night.
Man, Zellner likes to get his hands dirty, and he fights in a very rough style. If he can drag you into that brawly, mean, kind of grimy way that he likes to scrap, he's going to give anyone trouble. Now, Macias, though undefeated, only has 2 pro fights and he only had 4 amateurs. That is not a ton of experience coming across a guy who has 11 fights as a professional and then another 11 as an amateur. That's a 22 fight vet, you know? So if Zellner's body is keeping up with his training, he's going to have so much experience and ringsmanship or cagemanship to bring to the table here. He could very much drown Macias just on cage time.
Yeah, that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. Light heavyweights, Monty Morrison, Kevin Hine. Oh, no. Excuse me. I skipped one. Lightweights, Francisco Sagrado, Mikey Conlon. Francisco coming off a big KO win in Duval, and Mikey Conlon undefeated and facing the challenge of a guy that's getting back in the game and now popped right back into it.
Man, he is undefeated at missing weight too. He has not. He is, bro. He is struggling.
Sagrado
or making weight. He's undefeated at not making weight. I don't know how to explain it. No, Mikey Conlon.
Oh, okay.
Francisco. I'm excited for this fight. In his last fight, got a nasty spinning elbow. Mikey always brings it. Always comes with pressure. This fight's going to be another one, man. It's going to be crazy. Like I said, Segredo is coming off a big win in Jacksonville. His comeback fight, knocked out an undefeated guy, a guy who was an OG with us. Has, I believe, he was like 6-1, 7-1. His only loss was to Faulkner as an amateur. Stud. And Segredo hit him with a nasty spinning elbow knockout, maybe knockout of the year. So I'm excited for Mikey and Segredo to get to it.
Yeah, man. Mikey has been pushing. He promotes himself super well. He promises action. He promises excitement. And he's now got a dancing partner that's going to be there for the dance. Sagrado had some time off, but from some training injuries, but he trains at Freedom Fighters, which is a very rough and tumble gym. It's the gym that built Yoel Romero, if that gives you any reference of the kind of style that we're dealing with. Sagrado, man, he was kind of crazy at the last show. I wrapped his hands. He was like, "Can you do nothing?" And the commission's like, "You have to use 2.5 meters." So I wrapped his wrist, I wrapped his thumb, they signed off on it. Anytime I meet a guy who doesn't want a hand wrap, I think they're crazy. Something in their head is shaking about because they're almost guaranteed to break their hands. And they don't care. He likes it. He was telling me, he's like, "I want to feel it when it connects. I want to know." Like, okay.
If you wrap his hands for this fight, you got to let us know so social media guys can come get a reel of that.
Okay. Sure. The commission was kind of hard about it. Like, I ran into it this past weekend at Dirty Boxing, and I did exactly what I did for Sagrado, and they were like, "Nope." And they actually made me put a pad on. Like, they wouldn't clear it if I didn't. So we'll see who shows up.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping it moving. Light heavyweights, Monty Morrison versus Kevin Hine, the Baguba. So Kevin Hine's last fight had kind of a weird ending to it, with like a kick to the face while his leg was tangled up in a heel hook, and Monty coming off of a couple of losses, looking to get back into the winners column. But that should be an exciting fight. Both of those guys throw down.
Yeah. I want to know what that is all about. Exciting fight. Both these guys coming to put on a show. They're both big boys. I believe they're both 85ers, so they're just fighting out where they kind of naturally walk out, I believe. Neither one of them look sucked out today. I think we're in store for a really good fight tomorrow night in St. Pete between these two. I don't think it's going to 3 rounds. I think it's ending in the first or second.
Man, Monty can be very, very elusive. We saw in his last fight, he was working on lateral movement because he was fighting a heavy grappler. But that is not the case here. Monty likes to throw down. He has a great right hand, or is it left? I can't remember. But his power hand is solid, and he likes to utilize it. In fact, a little too much. I think that's one of the things that didn't serve him well in his last fight. He was kind of obvious about what he was going for. If he can mask that, Hine is hittable. Hine stands square. He rushes in hard because he's trying to get the job done fast. That man brings a pressure that you don't often see. So we're going to see if he can drag Monty into the deep, deep water early, or if Monty's going to be able to be evasive and possibly take advantage of Hine going so hard from the starting bell.
Yeah, he comes out like a rocket ship. That will be certainly an exciting fight in the first couple of minutes, no doubt about it. Next up, we're going to talk about a welterweight bout between Ricky McConico and Ali Abusalam. Ali 2-0 as a pro. McConico also undefeated, 1-0 as a pro. Ali had a great outing in his last fight against Aaron Walker. And what do you guys think about that one?
Oh. You want to go first?
No, you go for it.
Okay. So, in terms of Ali, firstly, he's a massive guy, especially for the weight that he fights at. He is absolutely yoked. His grappling was very, very strong in his last fight. When he got on top, he stayed on top. The dude could not shake him. He comes from a good gym, Gracie Tampa South, into a Gracie pack. So Billy Quantillo and Matt Arroyo, some real UFC vets, some really tough guys on top of it. So his training is top notch. We just got to see if he can, if his striking has improved even a little bit, he'll be able to get to his grappling easier and he'll be able to find more success here, I believe. The Crimson King, no slouch himself, undefeated as a professional, just one fight behind Ali, but a fantastic amateur record at 6-2 and a title. This is not going to be this is a great fight. This is not a joke. This is going to be an awesome fight. And both guys just so young in their professional careers. I'm really excited to see it.
I see McConico has a bare knuckle boxing bout under his belt and a fantastic amateur record. So that should be a great fight.
Yeah, I honestly don't know a lot about McConico. I am excited to see him fight. He brought some intensity today. Ali, we saw him fight last time. He's always nonstop pressure. Good fight. I can't wait. We got this whole pro card is pretty ridiculous when it comes to the fights.
A heavyweight bout between Cody Judd and J.R. Crosby. I know Cody Judd comes in looking to slang it, and I don't know much about J.R. Crosby. Have a look.
I mean, just like any fight that Cody Judd is involved in, the people's champ, Cody Judd, will not be denied. When he walks out, the crowd goes crazy. Judd. The real ticket seller, the big boss man, the juggernaut, Cody Judd. I can't wait.
He always does come to fight. Looks like him and his opponent, similar builds. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Heavyweight fight.
Yeah, heavyweight seldom disappoint. Featherweight bout between Richard Reich and Alexander Tierney, both of them making their pro debut.
Man, Tierney fought both these guys fought really, really tough fights in the amateurs, and they're continuing that tradition into the pros. Both fought top-notch, best competition we had. Tierney didn't come up with us, but he came up in the Florida scene, and he fought some of the best dudes in the state. So I'm really excited for this fight. I think it's going to be a war between these two guys. Tierney missed weight today. Not the best. 3 pounds, I think, 2 pounds.
Okay.
Not the best first impression, but he was very intense and he was talking smack, and it seemed like he's ready to go.
And the guy he's fighting, Richard Reich, was he a Olympic silver medalist or was he a world, like in the world championships? I know he was an extremely highly ranked wrestler.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he has high good wrestling credentials though.
That Cuban system, second to none in terms of the chain wrestling and the pressure that they can maintain. And Reich has shown that in the past, as well as some crazy head movement. If you remember back to the Avery Mushler fight, he was on his hands and knees, slipping and rolling like a 7-punch barrage that Mushler was throwing at him. Extremely impressive in that moment. If Reich can kind of be meaner on his feet, i.e. kind of pave the way into his, standout wrestling, I think he's going to find a ton more success, but he's got to open up once he gets to the ground. Getting a takedown is great, but you got to do something with it, and I, as a fan, want to see, ground and pound and submissions, not just good wrestling control. You know, and he's fighting a guy who's a striker. He's most likely going to fall into some wrestling traps. So we're going to see if Tierney can shut it down or if Riche's wrestling will be able to overcome.
All right. Now, we're kicking off the pro card with a couple of fantastic fights. I'm going to talk about the second one, which is Peyton Hayes versus Timothy Abdelshahid. Timothy making his pro debut after a fantastic amateur run. And Peyton Hayes has quite a lot of amateur experience. And go ahead, Mitch.
Man, I'm super excited for this fight. Everybody knows Timmy's been training with me for a long time over at Fusion. I've seen him kind of come up. He's one of those guys that I've got to see grow up in the sport. And now he's making his pro debut. It's got a big challenge in front of him, man. Peyton is as tough as they come. Like you said, he got a bunch of amateur fights. He's done really well for himself up in Nashville. Coach Dustin Ortiz, one of the top flyweights, and was in the UFC for a while. Now transitioned over to being a coach. Man, this is going to be a really good fight, especially at flyweight. I think this is Peyton missed the mark by 2 or 3 pounds, but this is the first time that he's come down from 35. So he's going to be big. Also, like I said, he missed by a couple of pounds. Timmy, intense always. Again, all these fights on the pro card are just fire.
I'm super excited to watch Timmy go pro. You know, I don't know how many times I've seen him fight, but for as long as I've been working with you guys, you know, and what a nice guy, man. What a good kid. It seems like a very hard worker. I know at least on the crew, he's crushing it. You know, he's nonstop, and I would only assume that work ethic crosses over into his day-to-day training. You know, he was super impressive in his last fight. He was in bad spots. He was in good spots. He worked through it. I mean, shit, let's be honest. At one point, he almost got his arm completely destroyed. That grit, that toughness was insane. You know, Timothy has what it takes, and I'm excited to see him take that first step into the pros. Peyton Hayes, not being from Florida, not working in our circuit, I'm not nearly as familiar, but he is a seasoned fighter. It looks like he has 13, 14 fights at this point coming in. Again, that's a ton of ring experience, and it looks like he's done a little bit of traveling. So that all comes into play. But Tim is a man on a mission, and he's full of great skill and piss and vinegar, I guess, if we're being frank about it. I expect this to be a highlight, even though it's the second fight on the pro card.
And we're kicking off the pro card with a fantastic fight between a couple of guys making their pro debut, Ben Aris and Aaron Christ-Jansen. Ben had a number of fantastic amateur bouts with us, was on a 4-fight win streak to end his amateur career. Did have kind of a weird hinky finish there in his last amateur bout with Bashmir. And Aaron out of Team Mjolnir over in Iceland, who we did have a little opportunity to train with whenever we went when we went over there. Excited to see him make it. He's one of those amateurs that have had experience going abroad because in Iceland MMA is illegal. So all of his fights he's had to travel someplace else in Europe to go and compete. So him being on the road. Is he
coming in from Iceland, or is he like training over here now?
Yeah, he trains with Gunnar Nelson over in Reykjavik, and I know he's dropped in here and trained here for a couple of months at a time when he's been in the States. But yeah, he's coming over from Iceland.
That's awesome.
What do you think about this bout, Mitch?
I'm excited, man. I've trained with both these guys, and I'm a big fan of both these guys. They're good people, good dudes. Guys who want to see be successful. Like again, tough fights as amateurs, and now going pro against one another. They're continuing that trend into the pros. I think if you want to make it to the top, you got to be that guy. You know, you got to take tough fights, especially as an amateur. Then you go pro, maybe get one, maybe two. But if you can find another amateur that's turning pro at the same time as you, neither one of you guys have felt that feeling yet. I think this is the kind of fight you should be taking. If you want to make it to the UFC, you got to be able to beat. Arn's got to beat him, and Ben's got to beat him. And then whoever loses has to come back and, obviously improve their skills. Doesn't mean they're done. But you got to beat the guys that are at the same level as you in the regional scene if you want to make it to the top. So I like these kind of fights. Same thing with Tim's fight. Same thing with Richard Reich and Alex Tierney's fight. All these fights are they're top level regional guys as amateurs fighting each other as pros now. So I like it.
Benares looks in phenomenal shape, and Aaron, he brought kind of like a laid back intensity, which are not typically two things that sound like they go together, but that's the way he was at weigh-ins today. That should be an exciting fight.
Let's jump. Ben is pressure. Like his style of fighting pressure. He doesn't step backwards unless you push him backwards. You know what I mean? He is always coming forward. And man, he's got 10 plus wins for a reason. Dudes crack under pressure. Ben's got a great guillotine, Dustin Poirier style, jump the gilly all day. If he grabs your head, he is going for it. And he's got quite the squeeze on him. He has the experience advantage here too. Franz's only advantage is that he travels, and other than that, I don't know, because honestly, I don't know anything about him, unfortunately. I'll try to look a little bit more up on him tonight before the show. But
all right, let's jump to the undercard, and let's just spot hit some of these. Some of them I'm really looking forward to. We'll start with the undercard main event: Jaime Navarrete versus Devin Pegg. Jaime 3-1, Devin 7-2. And that is going to be for the featherweight title.
Man, I'm a big fan of Jaime. I met him in Tallahassee not too long ago, maybe a year or so, and he was just a solid dude with a solid work ethic, and then he went out and fought like a G. He likes to thump. He's got a great right hand. He's got a great left hook. He can wrestle. He can submit guys. Actually, I think in his 2 wins, he put both guys to sleep. Or sorry, in his 2 submission wins, he's putting guys to sleep. Jaime's got the full package. Pegg comes to us from Street Beefs, if I remember correctly, 10 plus fights in Street Beefs before going legit in the amateurs, and he's kind of hopped around a couple different sizes, from 55 to 35, and now back to 45. Dude, that's quite the record, 20 fights up. I'd like to see what he can do in the combat night square, because he's been around, but he hasn't been on this particular level for very long.
All right, our undercard co-main event: Juan Cruz 5-0 versus Phoenix El Matatan eBay, who's always exciting to watch.
I love it. These are 2 amateurs that have a lot of fights under their belt, have been very successful. I would say top in the region, and they're fighting each other before they go pro to find out, hey, am I ready yet? What is it? This is the type of fight I like to see. Like I said, there's pro fights, and then on the amateur side, it's these type of fights that get me excited for fights, and I really want to watch.
Man, I just know Phoenix will slump a guy if his right hand lands, and out of nowhere, in the late rounds. He keeps his power together. His last fight, I had him down on the cards for up until the second he wasn't. His placement was just perfect. I look forward to seeing him show off again.
Sorry, I got to clap back in the comments. We're getting reckless. Say a lightweight MMA bout: Ruben Matamoros and Christoph Williams. Christoph coming in with quite a bit more kickboxing experience, but has been successful as he transitioned into MMA. And Ruben 0-1 thus far as an amateur, but looking like he's trying to fulfill some of those life dreams, coming in as an elder statesman in this bout.
Yeah, man, both these guys come out of really good camps. I'm really excited for the fight. Ruben's been scheduled to fight for us a couple times and things have happened, but Christoph, I would say he did the right thing. I think he's did a couple kickboxing fights before he started to turn into MMA, and that's it teaches you a lot whenever you get all that competition experience. So he's real calm and composed. Don't know a lot about Ruben, but I know it's gonna be a good fight.
We've got Alexis DePetro back in the mix and facing Melissa Gee at atomweight this time. I think she fought at 115 last time, so get to see the stylings of Alexis DePetro. All right. Let me look here. Make sure I'm not yapping. Yeah.
Man, DePetro was tough as nails in her last fight with Sierra. You know, she pushed hard through. She fought her ass off. Sierra was just on a tear that night. You know, hitting takedowns, getting in tight. But Petro put hands on her, which she did damage when she landed, and she was not afraid to throw down. You know, if Gee runs into that buzzsaw, it's going to be a lot to deal with. Gee's going to have to kind of work around DePetro's strengths. And coming from Team Lima, you know, with Douglas and his brother, I got to assume she's going to be well-versed not only in striking, but in her grappling as well.
All right. And we have just so many more fights going on tomorrow. We got 5 or 6 Muay Thai and kickboxing bouts. We got a handful of other MMA bouts. We got 13 amateur bouts and 10 professional bouts on tap for tomorrow. So we are down here in St. Pete at the Coliseum. If you can get some tickets, I suggest you do that. If you can't, join us on the pay-per-view where Coach Ben and myself and our beloved ring announcer,
the illustrious
Miles Amos will be joining us there. So we have an exciting night of fights planned for tomorrow, and we are looking forward to it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Shout out Faulkner. And hit us. Also check us out on Instagram. We're also on TikTok, and we will be bringing you after our event this weekend. We'll have a post-fight conversation with you guys on Sunday. We'll cover the results and the outcomes of the various bouts that we've talked about tonight, and we'll bring you some highlights during that as well. So, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get them likes up. Our page has been growing fantastically over the last couple of weeks. I think we added 30,000 something subscribers.
Oh, that's crazy.
Over the last couple of weeks. So we appreciate all of you guys following us and checking us out. We're based in Florida, and typically, or I say sometimes, we dip into Georgia. We're looking to take our show on the road and go a little bit further north. Looking forward to that later. But business at hand is Combat Night Pro St. Pete tomorrow night. And if you don't catch us on the pay-per-view or come to the show, then check us out on our post-show wrap-up. Like I said, we'll bring you some highlights. And take a little shout-out to one of our new sponsors, Free, for 21 and up.
Hey,
we appreciate them getting in the mix with us.
Man, I will say this because recently I've been getting a lot of DMs from people that want to fight on Combat Night. If you want to fight on Combat Night and you're DMing one of us, you got to let us know where you train, how many fights you have, if you have fights, what your background is. Don't just message me and go, hey, get me a fight, pussy, because I can't really help you. I need information, right? So if you guys do want to fight in the top tier of Florida or the Southeast mixed martial arts, hell, most of the country, I've seen some of the competition out there, and I am not impressed. Nonetheless, if you're trying to get in the Combatagon, come correct. Bring your information. Come to us like professionals. We are professionals, so we expect you to be a bit of a professional as well.
Yes, I mean, you know, if you want to reach out to us with regards to getting into the cage, no matter where you're from, you can reach out to our Instagram,
Combat Night MMA,
and we have a few admins on that page, and we will get back to you. But I'm gonna throw him out there. Richard Cox is our matchmaker. He's at Combat Cox 229 on Instagram, and so that's really the guy that you got to talk to if you're trying to get on with us. And I suggest you have your coach reach out to him because that will just be the faster route to getting in the mix.
But if you guys come to me, then the people above me will like me more. So you can come to me too.
All right. I think that's all we're going to do for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for checking us out. We will be kicking off the show tomorrow at 4 p.m. Fights will start, and we will be running them probably till break it down. No, we'll be out. We'll be running for 10 till 10 or 11.
Do we have an after party tomorrow?
Man, I'm sure there is an after party. I won't be partying afterwards. I'll be packing up, and
that's true. Are you going home or are you staying in town?
No, we're staying in town.
Then we can make a party, Ramsey. Let's go.
All right, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you on Sunday. Like, subscribe. We appreciate it.
Peace.
I said, this guy looks like he could headbutt a cement wall unfazed. He's got to be talking about you.
You guys don't want no smoke. Come round. Come round. I headbutt you right through a wall. I'm crazy.
All right, guys. Later.
Are you ready for combat night?